Thanks to all of the pyrotechnics at the first presidential debate on Monday night, and thanks to Donald Trump's Chernobyl-style meltdown over his IRS records and his business history, his Iraq war position, and the fact that he acted like basically a general baboon, it was easy to overlook the insane proposals put forward by Hillary Clinton. We shouldn't. Hillary openly advocated some of the most radical propositions in American history. Here are 6 of them. First, profit sharing. Hillary advocated, quote, making the economy fairer. In promoting that stupid notion, it's stupid because mutually consensual exchange is by nature fair from any objective point of view. She pushed raising the national minimum wage, which would throw thousands of people out of work, and equal pay for women's work, which means unequal pay for the same work for men. But her truly insane line came next. She said, quote, I also want to see more companies do profit sharing. If you help create the profits, you should be able to share in them, not just the executives at the top. Now, many companies already have so-called profit sharing, like owning stock benefits. On a broad level, all companies have profit sharing. You have continued employment because your company earns a profit. You don't have a share of every dollar of profit because you presumably don't get dinged for every loss. But Hillary seems to be advocating a full-scale government intervention into every business in America, letting the federal government decide how much employees should make in every industry. This, as my friend Dennis Prager pointed out today, is economic fascism. Second, clean energy. Hillary proposed we would have 10 million new jobs through government investment. This is bullcrap. Obama made the same sort of claims about his green jobs program, and then later he had to admit his administration couldn't even define what the hell a green job was. When Hillary says we must deploy 500 million more solar panels, she's operating in a Star Trek fantasy universe where carbon-based fuels are less efficient than solar power. Trump rightly pointed this out. Third, Hillary said basically everybody's racist. She pushed the notion of implicit bias. This is a new psychological buzzword pushed by the academic left, saying that you're unconsciously biased, even if you don't know it, to explain why black people go to prison disproportionately. She then suggested that everyone in America was racist. Quote, I think implicit bias is a problem for everyone, not just police. But when it comes to policing, since it can have literally fatal consequences, I have said in my first budget, we would put money into that budget to help us deal with implicit bias by retraining a lot of our police officers. Unquote. There are 0 proven retraining programs regarding implicit bias, or even well-regarded studies suggesting the consistent impact of implicit bias on behavior, which is why no court in America will allow, quote-unquote, evidence of implicit bias. If everybody's a racist, there's no cure for racism, and that's a constant excuse for Democrats to claim America is evil. Fourth, Hillary said we should let all the criminals out. She said criminals should be let out of prison, and she said she wanted to end private prisons, presumably without building new ones. She idiotically said private prisons create a structure where you have, quote, a profit motivation to fill prison cells with young Americans. Well, since the owners of private prisons don't do the policing, this makes no sense. Fifth, Hillary said the Iran deal was awesome. She kept praising it over and over and over and over. It's a garbage deal. Hillary knows it. She claimed it put a lid on the Iranian nuclear program. That's a lie. She claimed it contained Iran itself. That's a lie. She said it would have led to war if America blew an Iranian ship attempting to capture Americans out of the water. That's a lie, too. Hillary pushed it forward anyway. Finally, Hillary dropped a line that most people missed when she was slamming Trump for sexism. She said, this is a man who has said women don't deserve equal pay unless they do as good a job as men. Why is that controversial? Should women make the same amount of money for less work? Hillary is a far leftist. Trump's inadequacies and stupidities don't change that fact, of course. Her radicalism is certainly a true threat to the country. I'm Ben Shapiro. This is The Ben Shapiro Show. Okay, so yesterday was debate day, and boy, oh boy, I was this close to hanging myself about 56 minutes in, but luckily for you, I watched the whole terrible thing, and all I have to say is, what the hell did you people do? What grave sins have you committed in secret that God decided to revenge himself on the nation thusly? Why in the world would you on the Democrat side and you on the Republican side of the aisle decide to nominate 2 monkeys to engage in the proposition who could screw the basketball hardest? Because that's pretty much what it was last night. Don't worry, we'll go through it in detail. But first we have to say hello to our advertisers over at FrameBridge. FrameBridge is this fantastic service. I buy a lot of pictures, a lot of posters, and then it's very expensive to frame them. It can cost $300-400 to frame them. You go to framebridge.com right now, and the way that this works is that you have a printout of a picture. You can actually send them the picture, order the frame, look at the kinds of frame that you want, and they'll send it to you. It's beautiful. I've used it myself. You can also send them your pictures yourself. You can ship it to them, and they will take care of it. I've done that too. too, and they do a wonderful job with it. They're cheaper than anywhere else. They have a fantastic selection. It's framebridge.com. So right now, if you go to framebridge.com and you use the promo code Ben, you save 15% off your first order, and the pricing is really good. For your favorite Instagram, it's $39. Small photos, $59. But the real bargain is if you have like a movie poster, it's $139. If you've ever tried to frame a movie poster in a decent way, it's like $300-$400. Framebridge is great this way. They use premium real wood moldings and acid-free mat board and foam board. Their materials are top-notch. It all looks great. It looks museum quality. Go to framebridge.com, promo code Ben, framebridge.com, promo code Ben for that 15% off. And again, I've used it myself. Great, great service. Alrighty, so the debate. Yes, it happened last night. It took place. And that's just more evidence that, you know, if as Benjamin Franklin supposedly once said that beer is evidence that God loves us, this debate is evidence that God has abandoned the earth and has decided to take his talents to Miami. So in any case, let's jump right. So the first half hour, here's the overview. The first half, first of all, we'll play the good Trump, bad Trump theme. This was epic good Trump, bad Trump. This was the ultimate episode of good Trump, bad Trump. Thank you to Brandon Snipes for our theme song.
Good Trump, bad Trump, which one will we get today?
Alrighty, so there was plenty. Okay, so first half hour. I thought watching the first half hour, Donald Trump's going to be the president of the United States. That's what I thought. Donald Trump was taking it to her on every field imaginable, and then the wheels fell off. Now, before we get into anything else, I'll give my quick overview, the debate grades. I thought Trump was an A for the first, he was an A, strong A for the first 30 minutes, and then he was not just an F, he was a Z for most of the rest of the time. Hillary Clinton always varies between a B and a C, not in terms of how corrupt and evil and how much of a liar she is, she's all of those things, but just in terms of performance. Lester Holt, by the way, I thought was absolutely biased against Trump. I think all the complaints about Lester Holt being biased were absolutely justified last night. The questions that he asked were significantly harder for Trump than they were for Hillary Clinton. He fact-checked Trump wrongly at least twice, as far as I'm aware, and so that was really bad. But this one's on Trump. Because first half hour he's in full control. So we'll play it right from the beginning. You're going to get the most comprehensive coverage of this debate of anybody out there today. And if we have to cut off in the middle because you only see the first 15 minutes on Facebook, this is why you need to subscribe at dailywire.com for $8 a month, and you get a free copy of Klavan's book. But in any case, let's jump in. So we start off the debate. Hillary walks on stage wearing Chairman Mao's favorite costume, and then Donald Trump walks out and he's wearing a blue tie, and Hillary Clinton leads off with this statement. This is her statement for why she wants to be president of the United States.
I want us to invest in you. I want us to invest in your future. That means jobs in infrastructure, in advanced manufacturing, in innovation and technology, clean renewable energy, and small business, because most of the new jobs will come from small business. We also have to make the economy fairer. That starts with raising the national minimum wage and also guarantee finally equal pay for women's work.
Okay. So this is okay. So she dropped out. She dropped her normal line. It's super boring. Here's a bunch of government programs I'm going to pay for, but really you're going to pay for them. And also, I'm a woman. Yay, vaginas. So that was her lead off. And then Donald Trump started. And Donald Trump's opener was a lot stronger than Hillary Clinton's opener because he told a story. Now, the story he's about to tell is a bunch of crap, but that doesn't matter. It's a story. And it's an effective story, for what it's worth. Here is Donald Trump's story about what he thinks is the big problem with the country right now.
Our jobs are fleeing the country. They're going to Mexico. They're going to many other countries. You look at what China is doing to our country in terms of making our product. They're devaluing their currency, and there's nobody in our government to fight them. And we have a very good fight, and we have a winning fight, because they're using our country as a piggy bank to rebuild China. And many other countries are doing the same thing.
So his idea is that you are being screwed. And this is a more compelling message than Hillary, here's my latest program. So you are being... Now, here's the problem. The first half hour, Trump, as I say, he did a good job in this debate. He's lying. None of this is true, okay? The idea that there's one point where he actually called Mexico the eighth wonder of the world. Like their industry was the eighth wonder of the world. Like they're building factories that were the eighth wonder of the world. If it's so great, why is he so worried about Mexicans fleeing across the border, which is why we need the wall, presumably? Right? Why would they be fleeing from the eighth wonder of the world land to this crap hole we call America if they're really destroying us on jobs? If China's schlonging us on the currency, then why is it that China has had two separate major stock market crashes in the last 12 months? So all of it's not true, but it's more of a compelling narrative. And Hillary, so this is a compelling, and then Hillary comes back, and Hillary is just a giant pile of boredom in a red suit. Now, I will say this. Her energy level was much better last night. She didn't look like a walking corpse, which was one of the things that she had to do. Her entire goal last night was don't look like a walking corpse and trigger Donald Trump, get Donald Trump to melt down. She accomplished both of those goals. Here's Hillary talking about Donald Trump's economic plans. The problem for Hillary is, of course, that she is a programmed robot, and thus this was awful. Here's the worst of Hillary last night.
I call it trumped up trickle down, because that's exactly what it would be. That is not how we grow the economy.
Trumped up trickle down. Okay, so her program, I mean, like, goodness gracious. If that's your big line, trumped up trickle down, you royally suck at this. Wow, really bad. And then she follows that up with, I think we come at the economy from different perspectives.
I think we come at it from somewhat different perspectives. I understand that. You know, Donald was very fortunate in his life, and that's all to his benefit. He started his business with $14 million borrowed from his father, and he really believes that the more you help wealthy people, the better off we'll be, and that everything will work out from there. I don't buy that. I have a different experience. My father was a small businessman. He worked really hard. He printed drapery fabrics on long tables where he pulled out those fabrics and he went down with a silk screen and dumped the paint in and took the squeegee and kept going.
Okay. But in all fairness to Secretary Clinton, when she started talking about this, it was really very recently. She's been doing this for 30 years. And why hasn't she made the agreements better? The NAFTA agreement is defective just because of the tax and many other reasons, but just because of the fact.
Let me interrupt just a moment.
Secretary Clinton and others, politicians, should have been doing this for years, not right now because of the fact that we've created a movement. They should have been doing this for years. What's happened to our jobs and our country and our economy generally is, look, we owe $20 trillion.
Okay. So Hillary hits him with this, I grew up a poor black child in Alabama, and she hits Trump with, and you grew up really rich. And that's her first attempt to sort of jar him. It's her attempt to push him into defensiveness, and he ignores it, which is what he should do. And instead, he hits back with, you've been here for 30 years, and all of this sucks, and it's all your fault because all of it sucks. And Hillary has no comeback for that. Her only comeback for that is, no, everything is great. Here's Hillary saying, well, you know, everything really is awesome thanks to President Obama and me.
Let's stop for a second and remember where we were 8 years ago. We had the worst financial crisis, the Great Recession, the worst since the 1930s. That was in large part because of tax policies that slashed taxes on the wealthy, failed to invest in the middle class, took their eyes off of Wall Street, and created a perfect storm.
Okay, and so her response is typical nothingness, and he kills her on it. She says that she wants to invest in green energy, and he kicks her right in the giant posterior.
She talks about solar panels. We invested in a solar company, our country. That was a disaster. They lost plenty of money on that one. Now, look, I'm a great believer in all forms of energy, but we're putting a lot of people out of work. Our energy policies are a disaster. Our country is losing so much in terms of energy, in terms of paying off our debt. You can't do what you're looking to do with $20 trillion in debt. The Obama administration, from the time they've come in, is over 230 years worth of debt, and he's topped it.
And he's killing her. Right? I mean, he's destroying her on this. She's trotting out the same old Obama talking points, and he's saying, you've made things bad. And most Americans believe the country's moving in the wrong direction, and she's got nothing on this. I mean, he's crushing her. Watch this next exchange. Again, he crushes her on this.
Well, actually,
I will bring back jobs. You can't bring back jobs.
Well, actually, I have thought about this quite a bit.
Yeah, for 30 years.
I have, well, not quite that long. I think my husband did a pretty good job in the 1990s. I think a lot about what worked and how we can make it work again.
Well, he approved
3 million
NAFTA.
New jobs,
he approved
a balanced
NAFTA,
budget,
which is the single worst trade deal ever approved in this country.
Okay, and so he hits her with the NAFTA deal. Now, he's factually wrong on NAFTA. NAFTA is not the single worst trade deal in the history of the country. NAFTA has generated millions and billions of dollars in profits for American companies. There are a lot of jobs that exist in the auto industry down south that would not exist if it were not for NAFTA. Doesn't matter. He hits her, and because she won't embrace NAFTA, because she won't embrace free trade, he gives her the runaround on it. And watch how she just falls apart over this. And she does. She falls apart. Here is Donald Trump hitting her again on NAFTA, and then she falls apart on NAFTA and the Trans-Pacific Partnership and her history on trade, because she's not honest enough to embrace free trade. So you have two candidates, both of whom are arguing against free trade, which means they're both factually wrong, but Trump actually believes this stuff, and Hillary's been in favor of free trade before, so he just kicks her around on it.
And I have
Your husband signed NAFTA, which was one of the worst things that ever happened to the manufacturing industry.
That is your opinion.
You go to New England, you go to Ohio, Pennsylvania, you go anywhere you want, Secretary Clinton, and you will see devastation where manufacturing is down 30, 40, sometimes 50%. NAFTA is the worst trade deal maybe ever signed anywhere, but certainly ever signed in this country. And now you want to approve Trans-Pacific Partnership. You were totally in favor of it. Then you heard what I was saying, how bad it is, and you said, I can't win that debate. But you know that if you did win, you would approve that, and that will be almost as bad as NAFTA. Nothing will ever top NAFTA.
That is just not accurate. I was against it once it was finally negotiated and the terms were laid out. I wrote about that in...
You called it the gold standard.
I hope...
You called it the gold standard of trade deals. You said it's the finest deal you've ever seen.
No.
And then you heard what I said about it, and all of a sudden you were against it.
Well, Donald, I know you live in your own reality, but that is not the facts. The facts are, I did say, I hoped it would be.
We can stop it there. I mean, she falls apart. He's hitting her on this, and she absolutely falls apart. And it continues along these lines. She cites her website when she says that she wants to fight ISIS, and he knocks her on that.
You go to her website, and you take a look at her website. She's going to raise taxes $1.3 trillion. Mr. Trump, and look at her website. You know what? It's no different than this. She's telling us how to fight ISIS. Just go to her website. She tells you how to fight ISIS on her website. I don't think General Douglas MacArthur would like that too much.
Okay, and so again, it's not a wonderful answer. It's not really an explanation of why would MacArthur oppose it. I mean, no one really knows, but it's a good line. And then Trump hits her again. He hits her again on the economy, and Hillary goes right back to this trumped-up trickle-down routine. She's stuck on stupid. She's got the scratched record, and she can't get out of it. She's stuck now.
$5 trillion that we can't bring into our country, Lester, and with a little leadership, you'd get it in here very quickly, and it could be put to use on the inner cities and lots of other things, and it would be beautiful. But we have no leadership. And honestly, that starts with Secretary Clinton.
All right, you have 2 minutes on the same question to defend tax increases on the wealthiest Americans, Secretary Clinton.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything that's ever happened.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, why not?
Lester, how much?
As I said, trumped up, trickle down. Trickle down did not work. It got us into the mess we were in 2009.
Weak T. So trumped up, trickle down. By the way, when she plays the victim, you're blaming me for everything. He says, well, why not? Good question. You were there. Why shouldn't we blame you for these things? Like, why don't you make a case we shouldn't blame you for these things? So he's killing her. I mean, the first half hour, I'm thinking President Trump. I mean, really, like, he's going to win. He's going to walk away from this debate the big winner. And she's falling apart. She doesn't know what to do because she came out into this debate expecting that Trump was not going to be on attack, that Trump was going to be sitting back, that she'd be able to sort of prod him. And after she does this routine about trumped up, trickle down, he hits with his favorite line. He says she's a typical politician, and this is sort of the capstone. This is the high point of his presidential run. Right now, you're about to watch it. This is the high point of his presidential run.
Typical politician, all talk, no action, sounds good, doesn't work. Never going to happen. Our country is suffering because people like Secretary Clinton have made such bad decisions in terms of our jobs and in terms of what's going on.
Okay, so quick break we're going to say hello to Birch Gold, our other advertiser for today. Birch Gold is obviously the place you need to be if you're going to buy gold. If you're looking into investing in precious metals, then you need to take a look at them at birchgold.com/Ben. Make sure that you add the /Ben so that you can ensure that that they know that we sent you. You can also give them a call at 800-496-6663. They have tons of 5-star reviews and A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They'll send you a comprehensive 16-page kit about how gold and silver can protect your savings, how you can legally move your IRA or 401k out of stocks and bonds and into a precious metals IRA if that's something you're interested in. Call them up, ask every question in the book, make sure that you're doing what you want to do with your money, and then you work with them if you want to buy precious metals, because I really believe that they are honest, and I wouldn't say so if I didn't think so. So birchgold.com/Ben. So we've shown you all of the good moments for Trump. We've shown you all of the good moments for Trump, how far he's come, how he's killing her. This is all from 6 o'clock to 6:31 Pacific time. And then the worm turns. And it happens at precisely 6:31 p.m. Directly at 6:31 p.m., the worm turns. In order for you to see what happens then, in order for you to see what happens next, you're going to have to subscribe at dailywire.com. $8 a month will get you full access. If you get an annual pass, then you get a free copy of Andrew Klavan's book, which is exciting. I have a novel coming out. I think you get a free copy of that as well at dailywire.com. $8 a month will get you access. You get to watch it live right now. We'll continue on with the show, and there's a lot more coming up, including more debate analysis, the fallout, how Donald Trump knows he lost the debate, because he does. He knows he lost, and we'll explain how that happened. And we'll also do some deconstructing culture. So a lot coming up here. Plus, if you subscribe, you get to be part of the mailbag, which is happening on Thursday. We have a big week coming up. Thomas Sowell is going to be stopping by tomorrow. So lots and lots happening on the Ben Shapiro Show. Make sure that you check us out. And later, if you want to download us, iTunes or SoundCloud for the #1 conservative podcast in America.